Elise, welcome. Thank you so much for joining and also for being frank and open about your donorship.
You don't know yet.
I've heard something, but first of all, do you recognize the reasons for giving?
Yeah, I do, but it's so different to be on the other side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When I was learning about this, I thought I must have been out of the room before I came in now.
Yeah, you should be the secret guest bringing in now because we have been talking about you so long.
No, because it is nice to know all the ins and outs from the other side.
Yeah.
And some things I do recognize, other things I don't.
Maybe it's good to start introducing a little bit more about your work and also about the donorships you are holding. Internationally first, you give both in the United States and in Europe. Can you tell us a little bit more about the sort of donations you have been giving?
In New York has been for a very long time for the Metropolitan Opera. Mm-hmm. And as you know, what was already been told in America, they have a very different view. So I learned a long time ago how they were doing on that side of the world. Yeah. So when I started here, sometimes I thought, oh my, it's so different. But I must say today it is very good. So it's a big difference in all those years.
Yeah, and what do you consider to be the biggest difference over the last 10 years in Europe and specifically in the Netherlands?
The recession was, of course, a very important start that it all of a sudden became very important. Yeah. And because I have been to the States so many times, I saw it coming. When the opera houses or the organizations, the museums get less money, they need private funding. So it was no surprise for me. And
what were you thinking the moment you start engaging yourself to European institutions about the way you was treated or perceived?
The other one was in Germany for the, I'm a Wagner fan, so I went to Bayreuth every year.
The Bayreuth Festival?
Yeah. At that time, my ex-husband had a company in Germany, so we gave to the organization money. The good thing is, of course, you get good seats. Other people have to wait 8 years to get tickets to go to Bayreuth. Then you.
So you were on the fast lane.
Yeah. It was also a reasonable amount of money. But that were for me, more or less the only benefits. There was no much contact with the organizations. They didn't do any dinners of cocktail parties. It was just the money so they could do good productions.
And what was your response to that? Was it something you thought of, well, that's okay, I mean, it's just having the good seat and the fact that they are communicate clearly? Or was it something you missed?
No, because it was so international. You don't live in Germany, you don't know the people who live there, they come from all around the globe. So maybe we had one reception one afternoon and that was about it. But that was okay.
Yeah. And then towards your Dutch fundings and experiences so far.
Yeah, I started before the recession, so it was different. I remember that sometimes there were not even in-organization fundraisers. So you yourself went up to...
Which door were you knocking on at that time?
Yeah, from the director of a company.
Right, yeah. So you go straight into the director's room, so to say.
Yeah, but I try to find a middle person, you know, to get a better contact.
To be clear, you took the initiative.
Yeah.
It was not someone approaching you,
no.
You really took it yourself by saying, okay, listen, I have something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what?
Yeah, they were surprised, and they also didn't know what to do with me. But that has changed an awful lot.
Now they find you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you look at that change, do you think that they do really understand the way you as a donor like to be approached, and that they do it properly? I mean, what can they learn from your experiences?
Today is totally different from, say, 8 years ago. The approach, you get to know the people, because in those days, 10 years ago, there was a big distance between the donors and the people who were on the board. But that has changed a lot.
So distance-wise, you're much more connected, much more close. That has changed.
Yeah.
You also heard that it's about building up a long-lasting relation. Is that happening with you as well?
Absolutely, and I think that's very important part of why you donate.
I can imagine it's also a little bit about seducing the donor. So we start building up this relationship between the institution and the donor, and first you give something and you get something out of it, and then step by step maybe you feel more and more seduced and tight, as it's being said in more scientific sentences, to bring up more goods and more money.
I don't feel seduced, no.
No?
I do it on my own free will.
I understand. But it's not that people say to you, okay, now I've seen your collection, it would be really nice, Elise, if we can,
Oh, now you're talking about my collection of Japanese
collection
art.
or money-wise?
I keep those two separate.
Okay, you see that as separate sort of things.
Yeah, because my museum I run myself, I collect it, then I found a place to show it to the people, and I found out it's cheaper to get them in for free than to sell tickets, because it is a private museum. And then I decided to donate the core of the collection to a museum, because when I get older, I can't take care of it anymore because it is paper. And when I'm over 80 years old, I don't know if I'll be able to run my own museum.
Right. So that's also a practicality.
Yeah, but also that it will be in good hands.
Right.
That's the most important thing.
Okay, that's about your collection and the fact that you want your museum to be secured into a bigger institution over the longer run of time. And talking about funding, you say, I have another approach. I don't want to be seduced. I want to have you can say
they can seduce me a little bit, but that is not...
I thought so.
It's also nice when they are kind to you, but I'm kind to them as well. So
yeah, that's the least. Yeah? That's the least. But I mean, I think everybody is trying to understand what makes people tick. Why are they start giving? Can you help them a little bit? Why?
If they approach me, I must have a click with the person.
Yeah.
That's very important.
It's about personal contact.
Yeah, very important. That's the first step. And then you talk, and with art, it's so interesting, if it is ballet or opera or concert or museum. I wish I had 8 days a week. There's so much to do, especially in Amsterdam.
So, in a way, you also say it's about being self-educated, to get to know much more about the backgrounds of art, by the quality and technicality of ballet, and so on and so on.
Yeah.
And you want to be involved in that.
Yeah.
So if someone is just asking for money instead of giving you an experience, that's not good enough.
Can you say it again?
Well, if someone just asks for the money and not giving you an experience, an exchange of knowledge, of educational sort, that's not good enough.
Yeah, but you don't know beforehand exactly what they will give you.
Yeah. You don't ask for that?
A little bit. I started now, first in Holland, usually when you donate, you do it for 5 years because that has tax reasons. Nowadays, I go more and more into making a foundation. And so when I donate money to an organization, I make a Elise Fonds. So I have a Elise Fonds for music, for museums, and then you give one amount of money immediately. And then you have with the organization once a year a talk, and you talk about what are we going to do with your money for this particular year.
Yeah.
So you are involved in the project, what they are going to do with the money as well.
And that's something of importance for you?
Yes, I won't tell them you have to do this, but it is nice that they tell you what they intend to go to do, and if I find that a good idea myself as well.
Yeah. So this sort of co-decision, decide together.
Yeah, and you get a good bonding with the organization as well.
Yeah. And what I think is interesting is that your fund is called Für Elise.
Yeah, my name is Elise.
Yeah, I understand. But it means that you say it must also be something out for me.
No, you have to give it a name.
What's in the name?
What's in the name? So it's Für Elise. That's also my email address for many years.
Good to know for everyone.
I don't have sponsors for my museum, so you give it to someone else. But Für Elise is for me. Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, it's your intellectual and educational source.
I don't have to tell my last name. That's just me.
Yeah. Okay. Last question, and then I hope some people in the audience have questions for you as well. We have also been discussed this morning about the changing sort of approach by the government, the fact that it becomes more and more also an economical activity to look upon the arts, and the way we as the philanthropical sector, including donors, should react upon that. And one of the things Arjo Klamer said, for example, we should really point out that it's not about a private activity or a public activity, it's about a shared activity. It's something which is not in the economical textbooks yet, because it's something different. And if we only look at it in the economical sense, people start, it was already mentioned, to behave like consumers. How do you look upon those developments and the way it's being framed or presented?
I don't exactly how I can explain that. I don't know.
No?
Can you make it an easier question?
Yeah, I make an easier question. I mean, if you look at the developments over the last 10 years, the approach of the arts by the government more and more has been show to us what you are worth, literally, economically.
You mean as a donor?
No, towards the institutions.
What the government does to the institutions, so cutting a lot. Yeah, that's a big shame. But I saw it coming, and I think it won't change. We have to live with it.
Yeah, you see it as a fact of life, and then you have to step in.
Yeah, I think people who can afford it and feel for their own country or other countries or the arts, I think if you can give, I feel obliged to do so.
Yeah, maybe that's what I meant with this shared value, that you say it's so important. It's not about economics. It's about much more than that. And that's the reason I feel obliged to step in.
And honestly, I give, but I get a lot back. And really, and I mean that, and that's very important. Yeah. That more people know that when you give, you get a lot back. And I know that's very difficult, because when I talk to my friends and I ask, because I will find it very nice that my friend also will donate to the institution I like, but it's still very, very difficult.
Yeah, that's my last question then. Why is it difficult to convince your direct circle of friends?
Yeah, because they were so used that the government was giving the money.
Yeah, they say, I pay tax.
Yeah.
I see. Good. Questions for Elise Wessels. Who? It's your chance now to talk with a real donor who is going to give real answers. Yeah.
I just want to say that I think it's very brave and wonderful that you share your experience here as a donor, because so few people in the Netherlands will do that. So thank you so much for your story.
Thank you.
That was not a question, but a very nice and good remark. Thank you. Other questions so far? Yeah, please. Please introduce yourself shortly.
Hello. Well, I don't speak very well, but nobody speak about the wish of eternity, because every person has eternity sense. And when you make a donor, a gift, is forever.
We should ask Elise. This wish for eternity could also be a reason to donate. Elise, für Elise, what is your wish for eternity?
That has to do with my collection of Japanese woodblock prints, what I am going to donate. It is, first of all, because I want them to be in good hands. I don't have the money to have the building is mine, but it will go to my children. But I don't have the money to keep the building and the art inside. So, this eternity, I don't know. That was not. I hope that lots of people in 100 years, maybe 200 years, will be interested in it. I don't know. But I want it to be in good hands. That's the most important thing.
So it's not a personal wish for eternity, but the wish that your collection will stay a little bit longer. Yeah. Okay. One other question. Who? Yeah. Please introduce yourself.
Naomi Lennart. I'm just joking. Elise, thank you for your contribution. I'm Maudie van Olmen from the Stedelijk Museum. We know each other. You say a lot has changed in the last 8 years, which I think is wonderful to hear. But this is kind of new in the Netherlands still. And I think there are only a few large institutions with large development departments, and it's getting more and more profession. But there are more and more young people, new people in our industry. Do you have an advice to the people and also the young people and also us in the room, how to develop ourselves as development people in order to serve you and other of your people? Thank you.
That is most beautiful, most difficult question, because even I have 2 sons. They are not that young anymore, but I can't even reach out to my children. They are not interested. So I donate my collection to a museum because my children themselves are not really very interested in it. So for me, as a mother and with 2 grown-up sons, it's very difficult even to reach out to them and ask them to do something. So I'm sorry I can't answer your question. But
yeah, one more remark.
Thank you. But what I meant is that for us as development people approaching you or other major donors, there are so many new people in the industry. I would like to hear if you have an advice for us how to approach you, or how can we develop ourselves? What can we do better to make this
I think the question is quite clear. How can we better serve you as a donor from out of the development?
You can't serve anymore because
I understand.
Everything I can do has been done. How to reach out to other people, yeah. Even that I can't answer you. I'm so sorry. But don't give up. Keep trying.
Elise, first of all, thank you so much for the wonderful talk. It was indeed absolutely honest and open that you were willing to sit here. I think you gave us a very important sort of advice. And that's be personal, be connected on a personal level, see the person behind the money or the collection, and then you start building the relationship.
Yeah, I want one comment. You will find out that, I will say it in Dutch, jullie zitten allemaal in diezelfde vijver te vissen. We are all fishing in the same pond, and that is for you very difficult. How to find the people you can still reach.
Yeah. Well, that is where we are going to talk about after the break. Younger generations, new strategies. But first, a very big hand for Elise Wessels. Elise, dank je wel.